Yes, I love this land. It takes my breath away.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Steve.
And we have been traveling the roads of Texas. And you've heard a lot of our stories about towns, but you also need to hear about what makes Texas, Texas. And what is more iconic than the hat, the cowboy hat? So today we're going to talk about hats, how you get one made, how you wear it, just the hat. And Steve, before I hand it to you, one of my memories is my dad. My dad always wore his Stetson. And so growing up, the men in my lives, they always had hats.
Well, you married one that, I guess I was in the Air Force and I had a different hat then. But you're right. Texas is famous for certain things. I think of the Lyle Lovett song where he says, "You can have my girl, but you can't touch my hat." And that tells you a little bit about how much Texans love their hats. But if you listen to the lyrics of the song, he talks about how well made it is, the hat itself. And we've got the master of well-made hats. We want to say welcome to Cameron Morris.
Thank you.
Of Standard Hat Works right here in Waco, Texas.
Well, we met Cameron. We were having a benefit at my school, and Cameron brought his hats to make. And so I, of course, went over there and twisted Steve's arm, and I got a hat, and it took a while to get it. So we're going to tell you about the hat, how it's made, but we want to really hear about Cameron's story. So Cameron, I want to start with just tell us a little bit about Standard Hat Company and how you started and why you're in Waco and why you got into making hats.
All right. Well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure, we love it.
I'm glad y'all are interested in what we do. But yeah, I bought it 11 years ago in 2013. It's been in Waco over 100 years. It was originated, it was downtown, and we recently have moved it over into more of the central part of Waco. And I was in construction, I was in management, and wanted a new career. And I heard this place was closing down, and thought it was a good opportunity, so I decided to buy it and learn how to make hats, and here we are.
Well, let me ask, so where do you go to learn how to make hats?
Well, especially back then, there wasn't any. Not to get into a whole long story, but I was supposed to kind of learn through the previous owner, and that kind of didn't quite play out like I thought it would. So a lot of it was just kind of, learning as you go, kind of learning on the job, making mistakes, trying to learn from those mistakes. I was fortunate in the fact that my brother-in-law's dad owned it for a while, so he had a little bit of experience, and so I could kind of reach out to him, if I had any questions or anything like that.
So you're sort of tapped into, you mentioned it's been here like right at 100 years,
yes,
so
sir.
You're sort of tapped into the families that...
A little bit, right. Yes, sir. So the Martin family, Bill Martin, he was the second owner, and he owned it for quite a long time. And his son-in-law was Doug Eastland, and so he ended up acquiring the business, and he had it for several years. And so.
Well, when we were over there yesterday, we saw the cash register
yes,
there,
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
that was super cool.
Yeah.
So.
And that was donated by Bill's daughter, Brenda, and Brenda Eastland, Jantz. Now, but she was very gracious enough to let us display it up there. It was one of the few things that actually survived the fire back in the 90s. So we kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and it actually works. You know, we would use it, but I'm just afraid to wear it out and, you know, damage it. So we kind of use it just more as a showpiece, you know.
Well, we were there yesterday, and it is a beautiful showroom.
Well, thank you.
If you come to Waco, you've got to go over to Standard Hats just to see the showroom. I was telling him I just kind of wanted to go and hang out. There's these great couches. You can watch Cameron as he shapes the hats. And so I never realized how personalized a hat was. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about how you make the hat and how you, because y'all, when I walked in, this hat did not look like this yesterday.
Well, so the way we started out is we make a felt hat pretty much from scratch as possible. We do order the bodies in, and these bodies right here are made of different types of furs. The main ones that we use are rabbit fur. We use beaver blend and rabbit blended together, and then we use pure beaver. We also have a little bit higher qualities, which are beaver belly. They're a little bit softer, a little finer furs. And then we also use a beaver belly and chinchilla one, which is really, really nice too. So
I just learned something new. I had no idea I was wearing an animal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is 100% an animal. Well, it's all the fur off an animal.
Right.
So
don't get me in trouble. No one's going to throw anything at me.
I don't think so. I mean,
not in Texas.
I mean,
not in Texas.
Yeah, I think you're good. These are and these are really good hats. These aren't wool hats. I don't use any wool in our product, just because wool is more of a, you know, it's a cheaper product, and it does, once you get it wet and hot and stuff like that, it wants to sag and droop and all that. The stuff that we use is really firm. I mean, you can pop this thing, you get it wet, it's not going to fall down on you. This is a lifetime hat right here. So we get the blanks in, and when we get them in, they got big brims that aren't cut. The crown right here is not really blocked.
They kind of look like the hats that Haas wore.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, in Bonanza.
Exactly. Just a big, flat, kind of unblocked hat. And so we take it and we actually block it, stick a wooden block in there of the size of the hat, you know, because, you know, there's different sizes and different ovals. You know, the ovals right here, you either have a long oval or you have more of a round oval. The long oval is going to be longer front to back, obviously, and the rounder is going to be more consistently round. So that's one of the things we have to consider whenever we're measuring your head, not only the size of it, but the actual shape of your head. Then we also think about the profile height. You know, some people have deeper heads, so we need to go with a taller crown in order to get a good crease in there. So some people that have shallower heads, we don't necessarily have to go quite as tall.
I've been accused of having a shallow head.
But I will say the number one thing that people are the most self-conscious about are the height of the crowns. Mm-hmm. And some people it just takes getting used to see it, because we try to make sure it's fit properly on your head. You know, we want it down low. We want it sitting, you know, really good. We want it to feel like it's on your head and not sitting on top of your head, you know. So it's really important.
Okay, so let's put it on me and make sure I have it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So see, it's right above your ears right there. It's kind of right down above your eyes, you know. So you could actually pull it down just a little bit more. There you go.
There you go.
That'd be good.
So, okay. Now, I like to know the stories behind hats. Mm-hmm. Of course, country western, you know, performers wear cowboy hats. Now, heck, you even see rock and rollers. Who are some people that you've actually made hats for?
Well, I don't know. I feel funny saying this because I feel like, you know, I don't want to name drop, but
Melissa Howen.
Melissa Howen. We haven't done one for Steve yet, but hopefully soon.
Soon, right? We need it, right?
Yeah,
we need it.
No, we've been very fortunate to do some for some very big names.
That's cool.
Right.
We have some good people.
Right. So I know you've got a website. It's standardhatworks.com.
Yes, sir.
And I believe on the website there are images and whatnot of the performers that wear your hats, right?
We do a lot of independent music artists. We do some Nashville. That's kind of why we started that new store up in Nashville. And so, yeah, I mean, we're just happy to be part, you know, of that and help support that music. That's kind of where it all started, was we just wanted to be a part of it and support these guys that are really struggling, because I know the feeling. I know what it's like, you know, to sit there and have people, you know, tell you you're crazy for doing this. And I'm sure musicians got that a lot, you know. And
well, two things there. I know we were talking off camera a little bit before we started. So when you took the dive to open the business, it sounded like a real leap of faith to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about sort of the decision-making process and all the venture capital that you had behind you.
So, okay, I told you I was in construction, and I just was really unhappy with what I was doing, and I wanted a career change. I just had to have something because I was unhappy. I was angry all the time. I was just very cynical, and I just needed to get out of it. And so I got out of it, and by getting out of it, I started looking for other careers. And I've always liked working with my hands. I've always liked building things. I've always liked being creative. I just kind of like that, and this opportunity kind of presented itself, and I was like, man, there's not too many hat makers around.
Right.
It's an old business. It's been in Waco forever. It's going to shut down. It's got, might as well. And it can't be too expensive.
Right.
So anyway, I approached the owner and we agreed upon a price. And but yeah, it was tough trying to get a loan because in 2013. The hat industry wasn't like it is right now. Back then I couldn't give a hat to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was tough. And so I went through probably I probably went through a whole dozen banks trying to find somebody to lend me the money. Mm-hmm. Finally did. I think I put $500 in the bank account the day I opened it, for my operating capital, and we went to work, and I just started. I spent a lot of time up there. I tried to balance my old job and that at the same time, kind of doing one half day. But then at some point, you're just like, all right, for this is going to work, I got to just I got to jump all the way in. So, so I did, and I did that September of 2000. I purchased it or made the purchase in June of 2013, and I went full time in September of 2013. And I spent a lot of time. I always tell people, when you do stuff like this, you're sacrificing something. And unfortunately, I sacrificed a lot of time away from my family, to do it. And, like I said, it wasn't just about like we were starting a new business. We were taking a business that had not really was handed over to me in the best shape. You know what I mean? Like we didn't necessarily have the best reputation. We didn't necessarily have the best, name out there at the time. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it, but it was just not handed over very well.
Well, so anything that's 100 years old is going to sag. Even a great hat's probably going to sag after 100 years old.
And so anyway, so it took a lot of reconstruction. It took a lot of money trying to make things right with customers. But I wanted to build a company based on two principles: that if you build a quality product and you treat people right and have good customer service, that you can be successful and you can make a good living doing it.
I love that.
So,
well, I hope you're making a good living, because you've got the two things you wanted to do from our experience.
Well, I appreciate that. We're working on it.
So let's talk a little bit. If you're in Waco and you haven't seen the place, or if you're visiting Waco, they're at 1304 New Road, which is conveniently located near the Extraco Center. And so there's a lot of people that come for horse events there. The Heart of Texas Fair is there each year, and that's right in their neighborhood.
Right.
And so, I know you mentioned you've got a Nashville place now, too.
We do. We just opened up a store up in February. It's a showroom. We're kind of doing it on appointment only right now until we can find the right staff for it. But it's working out good. It's allowing us to reach other people on the other side of the country, because, we have people that fly in, drive in from all over. We had a couple flying from Philly the other day. Right. And a
couple we met yesterday had driven in from a little bit of a distance to come get their hats.
So, and that's what kind of puts the pressure on making it good for people. You don't want them to spend all that time and money coming down here and it sucks,
Right.
So.
Well, the hats, if you are in Texas, you've also probably been to the rodeo. So I want to do a shout out to any of those barrel racing girls, because he was so particular in getting my hat to fit me. So have you made for any of the rodeo stars or the rodeo, not performers, but athletes?
We do a lot of rodeo. I don't know if we have any that are like really, big names or whatever, but yes, we've done quite a bit of rodeo. We do. We like to help out in the junior rodeo when we can. We can't always do everybody's because, everybody's got kids and grandkids, but we do try to help out where we can. And, and we love that world. That's what got me into wearing, hats, is we used to have a ranch down in South Texas, and I used to go down there and we get to, help with cows and horses and everything. And it's just it's a great lifestyle. And I'm glad if this is how I'm a part of it, then so be it. But it's great. We have some great customers.
I just love that you are carrying on a tradition, a Texas tradition.
Well, thank you.
Well, not just Texas, I mean, but for us, Texas.
Well, and I just, anything that sort of nails the authenticity of Texas,
right,
is something that we're particularly interested in. And I've got to say that I was so happy with her hat.
Good.
And it was, it's a significant investment, to get a quality hat, right? But how long do you think that hat will last?
Oh,
I'll pass it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. we have hats that come in there 60, 70 years old. You know what I mean? They're still workable, and they're still, like you said, that was your dad's Stetson, right? How old's that one?
Well, Daddy was 98, and I don't know, he got that. It's got to be 50 years old.
Yeah,
so see, right. It's still in good shape. It still looks good. It's got good body to it. So that's the thing. It's a generational investment, right. And you remember your granddad wearing that hat. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So from a woman's point of view, so here I have this hat on. Seasons. Do I need different kinds of hats for seasons, or can I wear this hat in the summer, or can I wear it year round? Tell me.
Traditional rule is you switch over on Easter and on Labor Day. So Easter you go to straw hat, Labor Day you go to felt hat. However, there's cowboys that wear felt hats all year round.
Right.
They don't switch over to straw hats because when they're out, chasing cows and riding out in the pasture, that felt hat is going to stay on a lot better, and it's going to grab, it's going to protect their head a lot better than that straw hat. That straw hat, they're going to be chasing it the whole time.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't like straw hats for that reason. And in my opinion, I don't wear it hardly. I wear a straw hat very, very, very rarely. Mostly if I'm outside and I'm working and I'm always wearing a hat, it's a good felt hat. And it's sweated. I have one that I work in and it's just sweated in, and it's nasty, but it still has got good crispness to it. It still holds up when it protects my face and my head from the sun, which is what they're intended to. When I sweat, I take it off and that wind blows and it's like an AC on my head. I like wearing felts all year round. They just fit better. The fit of a felt's going to be better than the fit of a straw.
Well, that's good and bad, Cameron, because I was thinking, if it's a seasonal thing, that I had to come in and get a straw hat.
Well, you can get a straw too. I'll sell you a straw, but
see, that's the sort of customer service you get from Cameron. He's not pushing the hat, but what's the good on it?
What's the good?
Yeah, you said good and bad. I think you were going to say you were going to get Steve a hat.
Oh, that is. Yes,
okay.
I'm most definitely going to get Steve a hat. Father's Day is coming, right?
Exactly.
So I've got to get the guy a hat.
It's all personal preference too. There's some people that wear nothing but straws. They say, I sweat too much. Right. They say, I can't stand a felt hat. But, it's good for me because I'm going to sell them probably 2 or 3 straws in a year's time because they wear them all the time.
So those of us who live in the city and are city girls, we're more about the fashion. But we need to remember that these hats came about because, they're practical.
They are.
What we were talking about.
Well, skin cancer is a big thing. It's real. And especially with women. We have a lot of women coming in. They're getting the tops of their heads cut on and pieces frozen off.
Right.
And we've had guys come in and straight from the dermatologist where they had stuff burn off their face. And it's not from stuff that they're, doing right now. It's stuff that they were doing 20 years ago. Right. So, I try not to preach to people, but when they come in and tell me, well, I'm not a hat person, I'm like, well, you might want to be, if you don't want them cutting on your face. And because that guy was telling me it hurts because they take nitrogen, I guess is what they use to spray. And he said, it don't feel good at all.
My dad has had quite a bit of that done. And yes, it'll be a couple days where it's a real bother.
So ladies, you need to tell your husbands, and men, you've got to get in there because you need a hat.
You need a
hat.
Doctor's orders.
Right.
And like I said, the great thing is his showroom is fantastic. And on our website, Texas10.com, we will have some things about it. But so I ended up choosing a Western style, but he styles hats so many different ways. And so I love everything I see in there.
Good.
And so I might.
And our girls are good
colors.
too. Caroline and Catherine, They really take care of the girls in with the style.
And they're
stuff.
so creative because, mine does not have any stitching on it, but they do, like we were looking at some of the hats that I'm probably going to have one eventually, but there's like the cactus. Are those painted or stitched on?
They're embroidered, hand embroidered.
They're embroidered. There's one with a little Texas on it, which is really cute. So he will design. If I came in and said, I really would like this embroidered on my hat, would you do that?
Absolutely.
So there's some great
Most
style
things.
there.
Most
Okay, well, let's keep it at least PG-13.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's not. Well, there's some things that I don't know if we ought to try, but most things we can put on there.
All right.
So, if you come to Waco, you've got to go to Standard Hat Company.
You.
It's just a great stop because it is a spectacular retail space.
Or come to Standard Hat Company and visit Waco.
Yeah.
You could do that too. Right?
We have a lot. Like I said, we had some people flying from Philadelphia the other day just for hats.
So Cameron's being modest. I mean, the job that he has done reinvigorating this company, and like Melissa said several times, just the ambiance and the care that is obvious in the place, it makes it a great stop while you're in Waco. It's really a must do. And you may go in thinking, really, like we've been talking about, am I really a hat person? You'll walk out a hat person.
Well, thank you.
So if you come to the horse shows, I hear Lyle Levitt comes often. If you come just to go to Magnolia, if you're driving through on 35 from Dallas to Austin, stop and get yourself a hat.
And so before we go, can you give us your social media so if people want to follow the social media stuff?
We mentioned our website, so it's www.standardhatworks.com. Instagram's Standard Hatworks, TikTok Standard Hatworks, Facebook Standard Hatworks.
All right.
Everything's Standard Hatworks.
It's standard, right?
It's standard.
Okay.
Everything's Standard Hatworks.
Right.
They've been making hats a long time. Cameron's taken over, and it's an art.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Watching
you.
him make my hat yesterday, it's definitely an art. I was
you.
very impressed. It was fun.
All right. Well, Cameron, thank you so much for being here. That's Texas 10 culture or Texas culture for this Sunday. Hope you keep coming back.
See ya.
Talking about you, and I love this land. Oh, it takes my breath away. From Palo Duro to the Gulf Coast Plain, from the heart of the hill country to the piney wood shade. I love this land. It takes my breath away.